Gentlemen, welcome back. We're continuing on with the Ameritron als-500 run that we're on. Okay, so Ameritron als-500m problem. Unit goes into load fault too often with minimal input watts, not reliable with an SWR of 1.7. Please repair my als-500m. Please replace the PP100 transistors as needed. Adjust fault limiter and change power lead contacts on power plug that you have done for others. I would like to be able to reliably transmit 500 to 700 watt output on all bands without going into load fault. I spoke with this guy earlier this evening. He says, I want Toshibas. I was like, I can give you Toshibas. I have hundreds of used ones and hundreds of brand new ones. I was lucky enough to be in the position that I bought the last two Toshibas that RF Parts had. I have bought them all. There are quite a few knockoff Chinesium transistors out there. There's a guy in New York that's selling them left and right and center. This is not that. We're going to put legit Toshiba transistors in this amp. The value of the transistor, the Toshiba, has gone way down. Most people do not want to spend the money on the Toshiba transistors because the Chinese transistors, the HG semi transistors, have become so prevalent. But we can be so much more abusive to those than we can be to the HG transistors. The Toshiba is just a better transistor, period. I don't care. There is a transistor that has been developed that carries the Toshiba part number, the 2879, but is made by Haigu. It's called the C. It produces just a little bit more power than the Toshiba, but not enough that I give a shit about it, taking into account how unreliable the transistor is. There are guys in the amplifier repair business, on the Citizens band side of things, that are absolutely insistent that it is a great transistor. Me personally, not a big fan. I know that one of the biggest names in the amp building business is getting ready to launch a whole product line based around the Toshiba 20 or the HG 2879C. Me personally, I have taken the C completely off. The component that is going to replace the 2879C, in my opinion, is better. But we're not at the position where I can talk about that or even allude to that component even really exists. So I'm completely lying to you right now. Moving on, let's go ahead and let's take this off. I'm doing this because I'm kind of in the mindset of these amplifiers. Oh, and by the way, this is a newer model. Let's see, this is a serial number 15600. This is the one I just did. And it's got a serial number of 15,395. So these are not even 300 units apart. This one had the 5 watt resistors on the input circuit. This has got 2 watts. So in just that couple hundred units, they managed to figure out how to make it even cheaper. This one over here, which I've got to work on next year, is unit number 12,392. It is an older model. It's got the different knob on the front of it. This is an older model, as we can see. Look at the tag. Good stuff. Okay, so, not next year, probably towards the end of this year. Another thing I want to cover is I made a statement the other day in the public that got kind of construed, and I want to clarify. One guy that was just beside himself, he goes, oh my God, you're not going to take on any new projects this next year, or this year? That's absolutely not the case. I am going to take on repairs. I'm just not going to take on very many. I can't. I've got too many other projects that are on my plate right now. I am not taking on any new builds this year. None. But I'm going to take on repairs. So if you're one of the ones that's out there patiently waiting for me to say, okay, let's start talking about taking on repair work. Stay patient, stay vigilant. I am doing that. Don't be confused. I thought I made it very clear in the video, but I guess I did not make it clear enough. No new build projects. So to help this thing not to go into fault, he put ferrite beads on the wire thinking RF was getting in it and causing it to trip prematurely. No. These two trimmers, these two metal clads that are here, this one and this one in conjunction with this adjustment, it's too sensitive. With the 1.7 output SWR, that's not enough to actually hurt anything, but it's enough to throw the circuit, I think, I hypothesize. My idea is that it's enough to throw the output measuring circuit into a tizzy. And because these components are so weak, especially these RFP transistors are so bad. These PP100s, these were also made by HG Semi, by the way, are just so bad that I'm sure that MFJ has got it set so if you get over an SWR of 2, it goes into trip mode, and anything more than about 400 watts, it goes into trip mode. And they won't mention this to anybody in a desperate attempt to try and keep the products rolling out the door, right? So, just saying, it is what it is. The construction quality of this just amazes me. Let's go look at this input transformer. These are solid pieces of copper that somebody has, it looks like they literally cut them by hand and put this input transformer together. Look at that gap. Look at that. Horrible. It's just horrible. Solder work in here is deplorable. It's absolutely ugly. All right, I'm going to strip the transistors out of here. You guys have seen me do that. If you have not seen me do this, how I go about pulling the transistors out, I just released, you're going to go back in the video log 2 videos ago, and I literally give a tutorial on how to step by step remove these transistors and replace them. I'm not doing that again. Not doing it. We are going to replace these with 5 watts resistors because I'm not cheap. And I want the guy to be able to have a little bit more smooth linearity of operation. We're going to change these transistors out to Toshibas. But like I said, if you're interested in how I do this, in the craftsmanship that goes along with this, the tools you need, and how you go about doing what, go back 2 videos from this one. I'll make sure to link it in the description below, so maybe YouTube will suggest it as your next watchable video. YouTube's such a joke. And I go literally in my numbingly painful detail on how to go about doing this bit that I'm going to do right now, which is blink and then blink. I'll be back. So a few hours later, input attenuator's all been rebuilt. Flybacks are all put back together. Toshiba's installed. Power wire upgrades done. Power wire upgrades done. Power plug upgrade done. We'll come back to that in a minute. Getting to where I can do these without even thinking. I'm gonna turn the spectrum analyzer up on. So yeah, it's a little sensitive. We're going into the dummy load. That's 1,000 watts in peak, 1,000 in average, 5 watts slug in reverse. Amp off. Hello, 1, 2. Put about 80 some, 90 some watts in this thing. We're right at 15 volts. Hello, 1, 2. The 80 watts of drive and a perfect amount of drive power, or perfect amount of SWR. Hello, oh yeah. I mean, clicked right into protection. see this here. So let's grab our handy dandy screwdriver. Adjust that. Hello. Yeah, see, tripped out again. So we will raise that up just a little bit more. Hello. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So good on the spectrum. We'll adjust that. Give that a little bump. Give that a little bump. Hello, audio, 1, 2. Hello. So 100 watts of drive, 600 watts out. Let's go to the other end of the spectrum. Let's go to 10 meters now. Hello, audio, 1, 2, 1, 2. About 500 peak. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. Ah, yuck. Hello, 1, 2. I'm looking at the spectrum analyzer. I don't want to show you guys yet. I really me no wanta. God, on a perfectly flat SWR, it was tripping like that. I could see how that would become annoying. I bet you couldn't put more than about maybe 20 watts of drive in this thing without it deciding to go, no, and flip out. I could see how that would be, yeah. Frustrating. Let me play with this. We'll be back. Okay. So, I've got one of my other radios, the SR490, hooked up here. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello, 1, 2. Put about 150 watts in this thing. It, well, hello, audio. Right at about 600 watts. And spectrally, hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. About as clean as we're going to get it. We're on the 10 meter position, by the way. Hello, 1, 2. Now I got to have the lid on it for the fan to do its job. Hello, hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So the fan's trying to do this thing where it's, when you go into transmission mode, it'll drop to a low output under drive. The hotter it gets, the more consistent the fan will run. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, audio. Hello, audio. It's as hard as you ever want to drive this thing. So let me switch radios here. So we're going to start out here. We're on the 160. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. We're on the ICOM 7300. Hello, audio. Seeing 500, almost 600 watts with 80 watts of drive. And the radio's at 100% output. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So we're in that butter zone. I do a little tweaking of some stuff, but we got it this way. Let's go to 80 meters. Let's see here. So we're on 80 meters now. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 1, 2. 80 meters are seeing the same result. Hello, 1, 2, about 80 watts of drive. BVI, hello. Spectrum analyzer is looking pretty good. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay. And the radio is pretty happy as well. Hello, 1, 2. Sorry, that 700 watt output is just going to elude us. If you do overdrive this thing, it will trip. And if it does have too high of an SWR, it will trip. I just massage the safety circuits just a wee little bit. All right. Let's go here. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay. Ham radio is happy. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Amp is happy. Hello, 1 2 1 2. We're not getting a lot of dirt in it yet. But when we get up higher, we start to get a little bit more. So we'll jump on up here to 20. Remember, there's 2 positions for 20. Hello, 1 2. You see a little bit of dirt there. Hello. Then we go to the other position for 20. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2. It's as clean as a whistle. So let's go up here once again. Position number 1. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2. And position number 2. Hello, 1 2 1 2. Now let's go down here to the watt meter. Position number 1. Hello, 1 2 1 2. And position number 2. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. All right, so where you choose to operate this is entirely up to you, the end user. As we can clearly see, focus, you fuck. Focus. Thank you. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Versus here. Hello, 1 2 1 2. So now we'll change bands. Go to 21 megahertz. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Over to the watt meter. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. This thing is obviously set up that it pinches 20 a little bit harder than it pinches the 15 megahertz band. So, and then we have the 10 meter position. Tens of the meters. Tens of the meters. Hello, 1 2 1 2. Okay, but now we're driving it with only 80 watts. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Needless to say, I think this thing has passed its test. So, on the inside of this, like I was saying, we've given it all the cheese, man. See the input attenuator, the hottest point on it's 99 degrees. Output capacitors at 97. Balance resistors are equally hot. And the heat sink's at 94 degrees. These are the hottest part in the tuning board, or the frequency bypass board, or what do you want to call it, and they're at 89 degrees. That's the reason I had the air on it. And really, this air filter, this air system is not the greatest in the world. There's a big giant opening here, and then there's another big giant opening that runs across the top. So, I mean, there's air making it through the heatsink, but we could do better. Like, I'd love to punch a hole in the top of one of these and like nitro cool it with a 120 millimeter fan continuously, but we'll see. Time will tell. Well, shoot. I know this was short, and I Just telling you, everything that I've done so far in here, I've already done it on video 2 other times. So go back and look at those 2. Now, I need to get a hold of the customer and find out how long he needs his 4-gauge wire to be. Because if I'm not mistaken, he's running this in a mobile. But I can guarantee you, even with the 1.7 SWR, this thing is not going to trip like it was. It was so stupidly sensitive when it came in here. I was putting like 20 watts of drive in it, and it still was kind of iffy. This is going to help you the most. Upgrading this, really. But this design will not let us do anything more than about 600 watts, no matter what we do, without it getting too dirty on the spectrum. Just saying. Well, this is it. This is the end of this dog and pony show on this particular amp. I want to say, gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Remember, if you like the content you've seen and you want to see more of it, come join us on patreon.com. I want to put a big shout out to Penta, Siglent, XS, McMahon, Bird, Coaxial Dynamics, and remind you guys that every one of my YouTube videos is brought to you ad-free for your consumption, which is going to become harder and harder to find on YouTube without ads. I am just waiting for the day when YouTube makes it so we cannot take the ads out of our playlists, right? Right now, as it stands, I sit here and I flip a little switch, a digital switch on my side of the street, and it says, okay, I won't play ads in the middle of the video. The way they're acting, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a bulletin soon that says that they're going to make it so we don't have any control of it. 6 months ago, I used to be able to take the ads off the front end and the back end of the video if I wanted to. I can't do that no more. YouTube has taken that from us. So I'm seriously considering about going over and starting up a Rumble account, because I just don't see the viability of YouTube. The whole point behind YouTube was that we could go put up content and we weren't getting forced to have ads the way they are now. But once again, thanks to the support of these guys, we're making it happen as best we can until they decide to take that from us. So, gentlemen, thank you once again. Godspeed. May you enjoy your ham radio safely and wisely, smartly. And remember, the HR side of life is just as sexy and fun as OnlyFans, just without all the nudity and the penetration of things. So, on that, I said I'll see you. Click, bang, boom, boom, diggity, quack, bang. I'll see you, bye.